Hey guys, it's Elle. What is up? In today's video, we are just going to be talking about one of my traumas and one thing that I learned from it and one thing that I've healed from it, and I hope that this helps somebody else out there, because I know that a lot of girls, or even I don't know if this happens a lot to like men, but like I know a lot of like girls have this issue, and I feel like it could help some people out there with my trauma. Relate through trauma. So back when I lived in my hometown, there was like I think 6,000 or 7,000 people. I was in grade 8, and this was when I started to get Snapchat, and I was talking to more guys, and Elle just, you know, she was different back then. And for some reason, I thought that the only way that I could get compliments from men, or the only way that I could actually get guys to like me, was to literally send nudes, send pictures. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but I'm gonna fucking say it anyway. But I thought that I was only worth my body. I thought that I was only worth my face. That's literally, that's what I thought I was worth. And as a child, for me, I just never really got the validation that I wanted from my father. My father was very emotionally unavailable. He didn't talk to me. So when I went to school and when I started to, like, you know, get social media and start talking around, I thought the best way to get the validation was through doing this. And I look back at myself now and I have so much more compassion and love for that little girl. But I wanted to say that this one dude, I ended up trusting him, and I was like, okay, he lived like 4 hours away, and I was like, okay, you know what, like, I'm gonna show my body, I'm gonna get the love that I deserve, I'm gonna get the validation, yeah. But what happened is my pics got leaked all over town. What the guy did was he broke the trust and he leaked my pics everywhere. Like, I mean parents, I mean kids. I was fucking 13. Like, this was before I even got into high school, and back then high school was like grade 9 to 12. So I wasn't even in high school yet. I feel so bad for this little girl, I really do. And when my pics got leaked, it was pretty fucking bad. And I look back at it now and I'm like, damn, why the fuck were there adults, literal adults, looking at a 13-year-old's nudes? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, my reputation, wow, English, my reputation got crap. Everybody knew who I was in the town because it's a small town, so obviously, like, people know who the fuck you are. They know your name, they know where you live, like, etc. So these pics got leaked all over the town. And I got texts from people saying that you're gonna have such a bad rep when you get into high school, all of this shit, and I really did feel so alone. And these pics, when I tell you, they got back to my father. And at the time, my parents were divorced. So these pics got back to my father. And it just made my life so much worse, because he didn't really have any compassion for me at all. And if anything, he shamed me. He made me feel guilty. He shamed me. He made me feel like shit about it. And for like the next years of my life, he constantly brung it up. Like, he would keep bringing it up every time. He would come into my room drunk and he would just get mad at me for what I did, and it's like I could never escape it. I could never escape what I did. And everybody knew. Literally everybody knew. This was before I got into high school. And when I got the text that I was gonna have a bad rep, I started to believe it. I was like, shit. Like, I didn't really even think about that. And And as I got into high school, it was the next year, and people were still obviously like talking about my pics and stuff like that, and shaming me and asking me if it was me. And for a little bit, I felt so ashamed. I felt guilty, so I tried to deny it. But some type of perspective shift happened where I actually just confronted it. I was just like, yeah, that's me. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah? Why are you looking at it? Yeah, that's me. Okay? Because I had no other way to erase this situation. It wasn't like I could just deny it at this point. Like, people knew. So the moment that I switched and I started to just confront the fact that, you know what, I don't give a fuck, and yeah, that was me, people started to stop. And yeah, this really fucking haunted me for a long time. But now, as I'm starting to get older, I'm starting to have more compassion for that little girl, because I now look back at this and I'm like, I was 13. I didn't know any better. What I got taught was not right, and that isn't something that I should be hard on myself for. But what I learned from this was that I'm so much more than my body and my face. I used to constantly think that that's what I was worth, was just what I looked like and now my body. But now what I do on the internet is I talk. And people like that I talk. I don't have to sit there and post my body and post my face to seek validation from men, because I had this happen to me in my early years. I had the trauma of realizing that I was actually seeking male validation, and that caused that situation to happen for me because I never got it as a child. And so I hope that this kind of helped, or even resonated, or just helps you connect with me more, because as I started to get over that, I started to realize that there's power in what I say, there's power in what I do, there's power in, yeah, like there's power in what I say. I thought that, even, this is another thing, I thought, like, I never really was able to talk or have anybody understand me. So I thought that I couldn't really use my words to get what I wanted, or I couldn't really, like, say anything. I thought that the way to get men to pay attention to you was to do that, literally. And it makes me feel better about it now that I look at it in a different way. But I noticed that once I started confronting the fact that, yeah, I did this, people stopped. People stopped mentioning it. People, obviously, they still knew about it. I still had a rep, but I didn't give a shit, because what is a reputation? Like, I can change and I can evolve as a person out of that reputation. And that's what I did. I literally did that by confronting it and being aware of it and evolving from it. And I never let it define me as a person, because I knew that that wasn't me. That wasn't me as a person. I was doing what I was taught. I was doing what I knew, and I was trying to seek something that I didn't get at home. And I had to do it that way, but that's the way that I did it, and it sucks. It really sucks, and it actually does hurt me, that the fact that I felt like that as a 13-year-old. Like, what the fuck? But I've now gotten to a point in my life where I do not look back at that and think that was me. I now look back at that and realize that I was just only doing what I knew. And I'm a totally different person now. Like, I'm now able to communicate with people and help people on the internet with just my words. I don't have to sit on the internet and just post videos of my face or post videos of my body, because I've done that. And it didn't get me anywhere in life except just male validation that I could have validated myself for. But I didn't even know at the time how to validate myself at all. I didn't know how to validate that I looked good. I wanted somebody else to tell me that. And it's hard to admit that. It really is. But the whole reason, I guess, that I was making this was kind of just to have a little, trauma talk about something that I went through. And that was really hard, and it sucked. And I thought that that was going to be my life, that it was going to haunt me forever. It might still haunt me now, because people might bring it up again, but I'm now sharing it with you. I'm now sharing it to the internet and being raw and authentic. Like, I'm telling you about it. And I don't know, I just really thought that was the only way to get validation from people, because I guess no one was listening to my words at home. And so I didn't think that my words even mattered, or what I was even saying even mattered, or that my personality was something to take into account. I literally thought I just had to show my body, and that makes me so sad. And now that I've gotten to this place of awareness and healed that part of myself, I now have so much more compassion for that little girl, rather than being ashamed of it and being hard on myself about it because my dad and everybody was being hard on me about it. I chose to love myself through it. I chose to gain an awareness from it, learn from it, and evolve from it. Because now that I know, now that I've been through that, I now realize that I can validate myself. I can validate myself when I look good. I can validate myself on my words. But as a little girl, I literally didn't know how to do that. And I guess the message of this that I'm going to say, if anybody has felt this way, or you are so much more than just your body and your face. You have an amazing personality that people would love and cherish about you, rather than you having to do that to seek the validation. Your energy and just the way that you are is powerful. The actions that you're doing in a day, the things that you're saying to other people, those are so much valuable than seeking for that. And yeah, that's the little message. I guess I just wanted to share that with you. I love you.